Hey, what's up, stream keepers, and welcome back to my channel. And today we have JQ over here with us in his place, and actually we wanted to take this opportunity to share with you guys some of these Singaporean breeders who have been through the string keeping hobby, and having them actually share with firsthand their experience on how they actually get through that journey and understand some of the challenges they face, and what are some of the things that they actually could share with us, and the type of streams that they keep. So JQ, thanks for having us here today. So really appreciate it. And maybe you can share with us what are some of the things that, maybe you can tell us your background of stream, how you get into this stream keeping hobby, and then moving on, what are some of the things that you like to keep?
I started keeping streams about 3 years ago.
Right.
Then started out with Neocaridina's. Then I slowly increased the number of tanks I have from 1 to 2, then to 5 tanks, keeping different colors. So about a year ago, I moved to my new place. So I decided to explore keeping Caridina's itself. So I do my research online. Then I managed to. What captivates me is the coloration of new Caridina's, that they are very contrasting in the tank, especially when most of our tank are in green and dark colors.
Right.
So I'm looking at some breeds that is very contrasting in the tank itself. That's when I got into keeping PRLs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you started off with new Caridinas and then you move on to Caridinas, you keep PRLs.
Yes.
Right? Why would you? I mean, how many tanks do you have for PRL?
Currently, I have 6 tanks for PRLs.
Okay.
I started out with one major casualty in the first tank itself, because that's the very first time I kept Caridinas from 30 streams to maybe left about 10.
Okay.
Then I start to top up again to keep the number up. Then after a while, I realized that how come the coloration is not as nice as I managed to saw online when others are showing their breed online itself. Yeah. So I start to research more into PRLs, trying to breed out better coloration in terms of PRLs.
Okay. So you just now when you mentioned when you started off, you had some casualties in your tank. Would you be able to share with with the audience, if you would have given up, then what keep you continue to research? Because the streams are not cheap, so you buy them and then they die.
Yep.
And
I mean, it's the curiosity of trying to understand how to get them breeding, and the curiosity of how to keep them. The very first stage is about keeping them alive. Then when I manage to keep them alive, then it will be how can I keep them breeding, and how do I differentiate Caridinas in terms of a female, male, and in terms of their ratio, how many I could have in a tank to maintain a good ratio of streams within a tank itself. Okay. That's my learning journey, which have been over a year for now.
Okay. So I think this is so in summary, it's more of like gaining the knowledge of keeping streams and not giving up.
Yes.
Right? So if you give up early in the days, then definitely you wouldn't have expanded to so many tanks right now.
Yes.
Right?
Agree.
And I think this is fairly common for a lot of new breeders that come into the hobby. They come in with the expectation that I'm going to breed excellent stream. It will be 100% what I see online.
Yeah.
So I think that is the fallacy of the expectation. So for those who are watching this video and you are trying to learn how to keep PRLs, you would have some setbacks, right? But do not give up in the journey. Continue to ask questions regarding on what has gone wrong and what are you doing right, and keep doing it, and eventually you will be as successful as JQ, breeding so many tanks of PRL. So thanks for sharing that part of the journey with us. So the next question I actually have for you is, you have 6 tanks of PRL,
Yes,
right?
6.
So in Singapore, space is a luxury.
Yeah.
We do not have a lot of space to, people would like to keep different type of streams in the beginning. But what made you want to keep all 6, PRL? And I see that you have expanded your setup to have even more tanks. What is going through your thought process? I think this is something that is very curious for me as well.
So once after I got into PRLs, I'm trying to explore how can I make the streams in terms of better coloration, where their legs have solid colors, their white base is whiter and the red base is redder.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm trying to compare local breeder streams and overseas streams itself, and to see what is the difference and how can I breed them better. So that's why the number of tanks increased exponentially after different attempts of different streams itself.
Right. Okay, so JQ, I'm going to maybe put you on the spot right here. You will eventually have, I don't know, maybe 9 tanks of PRL, but eventually if let's say you're going to move and have other streams, you're going to have 9 tanks of PRL. What are you going to do with the existing PRL with them? Are you going to do some consolidation of streams together so that you can actually expand your hobby, look at more some other types of streams that you would really like to keep?
I would want to keep other streams, yes, but I will not give up PRL for now because I hasn't seen a result that I'm satisfied with yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll still continue on the journey at least for the next easily 2 to 3 years
2 to 3
to
years.
at least see the result of the streams that I'm breeding.
Right. So
Yeah.
now you have both the local streams and of course the overseas, the Taiwan streams. So can you maybe share with us your experience in terms of when you see them firsthand? What are some of the differences or similarities or differences you see?
I would say in terms of coloration, comparing the Taiwan streams I just got and the one that I had in my tank for like maybe close to a year, the white color, you can see a difference when you put them side by side in terms of the white, and the red is of a darker shade of red coming from the Taiwan streams itself as
Right.
compared. Yeah, so that's the main difference that I'm seeing, and the leg coloration is also better off in terms of getting the Taiwan streams. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's something that is maybe very difficult to discern or differentiate between a good quality stream on a picture online.
Yep.
Because who knows that the pictures may be a little bit adjusted to make it more white.
Yes.
Right? So
Agree.
having to see the stream firsthand, live, makes a huge difference in terms of the learning process.
Yes.
The learning process,
Yes.
because what you see live versus what you actually see online may not be the same.
Yes.
Right.
Agree.
Yeah. So coming back to the question about luxury of space and all that, you have this rack over here that you are running with a chiller and SS pipe, stainless steel pipe, and it is fairly expensive running cost. So maybe can you share with us what is your overall running cost for the tank? If let's say I'm a newbie and I want to start a rack keeping Caridiners, because we need cool water to breed the Caridina. So what is like a range? How much do I need to pay in terms of electricity bill and water and everything for that setup?
In terms of electricity, I'm looking at about $20 a month.
Okay.
Just for the chilling and the air pumps and lighting to the tank itself, about close to $20. But it's the equipment price that is daunting to
Yeah.
beginners that trying to start up the hobby itself. In terms of getting a chiller, it's like easily $300-400
Yeah.
for brand new. Whereas you can get a second-hand one, it's like $100 plus to $200.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of the equipment I had, other than the tanks, are all second-handed, which I got it online from other breeders.
I see. Okay, so you are saying that the running cost is about $20 to $30 every month.
Yes,
The running cost.
about that.
Okay, so it's actually not that much compared to uh, other things that maybe other people will have other hobbies. But $20 to $30 sounds like it's
Reasonable.
yeah, it's
quite
reasonable for a 9 tank setup, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you get a 9 tank setup, $20 to $30 every month. Uh, so I think that actually helps to dispel some of this myth that having a chiller, uh, having tanks, cooling the water is very expensive. Actually, to keep carriliness is very expensive. It's actually not expensive from a running cost perspective, but the initial capital investment, I think that is where people are more afraid of doing it. But the equipment can last 5 years at least.
Yes. Agree?
Some of the well-known brands like Teco or Artica, they can last 10 years without any issues, because generally I think for stream keeping hobbies we normally chill down to maybe 24 degrees. So the kick out time will probably be about
An hour.
an hour or so. So in terms of operations, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the capital investment upfront, I think that's the only part that you have to take the first step. So after the first step is done, then it's just yearly annual recurring cost, $20-$30 per month. I think that is still very reasonable, like what JQ has mentioned. So just before we close off, in this episode, is there any tips that you would like to share with newbies who are coming into this hobby? Something that you have gone through that you don't want others to follow your footsteps.
Don't rush to put shrimps in your tank. That's the most important. I mean,
Okay.
when I started out with one tank, it's like, oh, is the tank ready? Can I put shrimps in? Yeah, after I start putting shrimps in, they start to die. Like, oh, why are they dying? Okay, very high ammonia inside the tank, very high nitrate in the tank. So,
Okay.
yeah, so don't rush to put shrimps in your tank. Get them well cycled, 30 to 45 days at least. Then maybe you put one or two inside just to test out if they are doing well.
Yep.
If not, just let the tank cycle until they are well cycled before we really put any shrimps in, because the cost of shrimp is high. You do not want to dump in like 20-30 pieces of shrimps and they are dying off every other day.
Yeah.
That's very painful.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, JQ. I think that is a very excellent excellent tip to share with the newbies that is coming into the hobby, because even when I speak to my colleagues, when they keep streams, they want to put the streams into the tank just 2 or 3 days after they have started up the tank. So that is an excellent advice to newbies coming into the hobby. Do not rush into putting the streams into the tank. The streams will always be there. Just make sure that you have all your tanks cycled properly, get your parameters right, your soft and hard values right. I think that will be a very big step forward, and you will actually gain more confidence in that sense, rather than putting all the streams like what JK has mentioned. Put the streams in and then you start to die. Your confidence levels start to come down, and then you start to build it back up again and trying to understand why. So I understand that there are a lot of people who are very anxious about putting the streams in. Yeah. So this is one advice. I think people would like to still continue to try putting streams in the tank before it's being cycled. However, if you would really like to jumpstart a tank cycle, you can actually use many methods to actually jumpstart of it. First is you can seed filters from other established tanks, or you can actually use some of this parcel. In some of my videos you can see that my tanks have these potted plants that has soil in there, so you can actually move some of these plants over to actually jumpstart that bacterial colonization, and so on and so forth. So thanks JQ for sharing this very, very good advice to newbies who's coming into this hobby. Certainly appreciate your time and welcoming us to your place to view your streams. Really appreciate it. And so for those who are new to this video, please remember to subscribe to this channel, and then we will try to keep contents out. And so for this video, if you like this video, please remember to give a thumbs up, and until next time, peace out.